Hello there. I've just returned from being spontaneous. I've had a very sedate day and then decided that I probably need to leave the house. So I went out and I did stuff and I was spontaneous. I didn't plan it. I just went and I did. So I'm back and I was like, fuck, I need a podcast. So not fuck, because I actually quite like it. And Tom my boyf, is not here. And that is my favourite time to podcast, I'm telling you. I don't like podcasting when people are listening, which I know sounds fucking bizarre because I know people are listening to it or watching it, right? But I don't want people, I don't mind when it's recorded, but when I'm actively recording it and people are listening, or I think people are listening, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I just get really like uptight, which I know is fucking stupid. Anyway, hi guys, I'm Dawn. I'm a fucking great person. But I tell you who's even a greater person is my friend who's joining us. I'm sorry, I'm really shouting today. Burrito. Say hello, Burrito. Hello. He is from a game called Throw Burrito. If you're just listening on the podcast, I'm so fucking sorry because you cannot see the cuteness that is sitting in front of me / in my hand. It looks a bit like a penis. Slightly, with a face. But it's fucking cute. You can't deny it. And it feels really good. It's like, you know, if you had one of those stress balls that was like a beautiful sensory sensation, that I'm a texture kind of person, and that is sending me into the heavens. I'm telling you. So there's no correlation with how much I squeeze it and how much I'm stressed, because I'm not stressed. I'm fucking fine. Anyway, if you're new to the podcast, I'm so sorry I've just rambled on for 2 minutes, but I got a bit excited, and today we're talking about embarrassing female things. That's the new jingle, apparently. I have 5 categories. A lot of them reside from my deepest, darkest teenage nightmares, and today I'm going into them. Not just teenage nightmares, there are some which go beyond that grave. Okay, so there we go. I have, like I said, 5 categories. We are going to go through. I don't know which order yet. We'll make it up as we go along. Maybe we'll start with makeup because, you know, we'll keep it tame. We'll keep it PG to start with. Then we'll move on to body. Body on me, losing all my energy. Is that the one? I don't know. And then I guess we'll go on to dating, and then period, menstruation, and then we'll go on to sex, because that's fucking hardcore. It's not what order it's in, but there we go. And Burrito is going to be joining us on the journey, even though he looks a bit like a penis. A very big penis, like really girthy, like I can't get my hand around him. Anyway, this is a kind of X-rated episode, so if you are young, maybe don't listen. I will swear, I will say naughty things, and I will be talking, quite frankly, about sexual interactions, about blood, period blood, menstrual fluids. So if you're not into that, I don't know, I'll put the chapters on, you can like skip it or whatever. But if you're a guy listening to this, fuck a doodle do, because you need to know. If you don't know these things already, well, this is a female perspective. Anywho, what did I say I was going to start with? Makeup. Oh god, Burrito feels so good. I'm going to start with makeup. This is a real short one, to be honest, because I had one bad experience with makeup. Well, I had several, but one in particular that stands out to me. And we want to get to the good stuff. You know, we don't want to talk about makeup all day. Makeup is, as a teenage girl, the fucking cornerstone of life. It's something we all have to try, and we all do try. And for many people, it may go fine. For me and other many people, it may not. And I feel like it never goes well when you start off, does it? So anyway, my first period. My first experience, that's a Friends reference right there, if you didn't know that. My first makeup experience it wasn't a nightmare, but it's, you know, when you're a teenager and you're like, this is the most life-altering thing in the universe right now. I am fucking dying inside. I will never live this down. No one will ever forget this moment. This will make or break me. Yeah, actually, then you come to realise that there's further traumas in your life that will proceed come after all of those very simple and non-life-changing events. So there we go. Makeup is probably, like I said, kind of bread and butter of growing up as maybe even a boy nowadays. Look, I'm not saying all of these are necessarily female things. Some of them are, okay? Period. You can't really make that a man thing, right? Although men are involved in some of these topics, you know, because we talk about sex and stuff like that. So, makeup. Now, I lived next door to this girl who was a few years older than me. She was like goth. I'm fucking channeling goth vibes today. That was me doing that like rock hand thing. By the way, it might look weird for me explaining it. If you're watching on YouTube, it might look weird that I'm explaining what I'm doing. But you have to be kind to the people who are just listening. They are on the go. They're fucking walking around. I don't know what they're doing, actually. I'd love to know. Let me know, please. I want to know. Do you listen to me? Apparently, nobody listens to me in bed, as I've already fucking discovered, because I sound like a foghorn and I'm not relaxing whatsoever. Do you listen to me whilst you're working out? Do you listen to me whilst you're driving? I really want to fucking know. What do you do? Okay? Do you have me on in the background? I just want to know. I don't know why, but I don't know. I want to cheer you on in the next episode, if I find out, or like future episodes, if I find out what you're doing whilst you're listening to me. And if you're watching on YouTube, also put it in the comments down below. I need to know, because then I can be like, you fucking go, Karen, you wash up. Yeah, you're doing that great. You get that grime off. Girl. Okay, so that's why I'm explaining things when I'm doing, you know, like... So yeah, I'm a goth girl today because I'm wearing Green Day top, and also I don't think I fully got all of my mascara off from my fucking party last night. Yeah, I party. I was up till 4 a.m. Can you believe it? So yeah, I'm wearing my Green Day top. I got this at a festival running in Leeds, and still fits me somehow 10 years later. I honestly don't know. It is a miracle of life, because I have put on a lot of fucking weight. So I don't know, all right? It is an enigma. Burrito doesn't understand. I don't fucking understand either. Nor do you. How does this still fit me? I don't get it. So, anyway, I'm a goth girl. What I was getting at was I was basically, this girl that lived next to me was also a goth girl, right? I went through emo phase, goth phase, where I was going to Claire's accessories and I really wanted everything. I wrote a fucking list of everything that I wanted that was like gonna goth me up, right? Or emo me up. I wasn't into goth, I was an emo, right? And I'm an emotional rocker. And so I wrote down everything that I wanted. That involved, you know, those leg warmers, stripy, like green and black, no, not green, pink and black, yeah, you know the ones. And it also involved, I think I need to turn myself down again. Whenever Tom's not here, I talk really fucking loudly. I get really like overzealous, and I'm probably deafening people. I'm redlining the microphone, which is never a good sign. Okay, I know you can turn it down, but it sounds distorted. Right, so I'm there. I'm with my list, my fucking emo list, right? And my emo list has got leg warmers. It's also got, I can only remember 2 things off it, but alas, it's also got those netted, like fishnet, like arm things. I don't know what you call them, but they're like leg warmers but for your arms. Arm warmers, is that what they're called? And they're like, you know, fucking black or like neon pink or something crazy. And then obviously you want like really crazy makeup. So there I was with my neighbour who was a full-on goth, you know? She was into Bullet for My Valentine. I got into Bullet for My Valentine. Slipknot, the Murder Dolls, yeah. Whose fucking song, the only one I remember is I Want to Say Fuck Every Fucking Day. Sang that to my grandma. Not a good idea. She was like, Dawn, what are you doing, you fucking fiend? Oh no, she didn't say that. But I remember her being like, what did you just say? And I was like, nothing, I love ducks. So anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so I was there with, I keep trying to say her name. Let's call her Tracy, because I need something to say. Tracy, full on goth, you know, like has the posters on her wall of Marilyn Manson, like fucking living, breathing, dying and exorcising goth girl vibes. We're about to, not me and her, but me and my family that evening are gonna go out for a meal. Don't remember where. I feel like it was like Toby Carvery or something. Anyway, that night I decided to get experimental. Isn't our like teenage years just designed for fucking experiments? Like the amount of experiments I did when I was that age, not advisable. But I learned from all of them, and this one I learned from. I don't remember what I looked like. In fact, there are no pictures, because guess what? When I was 12, no one, yes, that's fucking right, no one had an iPhone. Oh, they didn't exist. They just didn't. They weren't a fucking thing. And if they did, no one had one because they were so expensive. There we go. Fucking bomb drop there. Oh my god, there's a moth in here. So I don't mind if moths are in the room, right? But just leave me alone. Thank you. So there I am in her bedroom. Tracy's bedroom. We're fucking fully gothing out, you know. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put on loads of mascara and eyeliner. Wow, it pretty much looked like I got a whiteboard marker and just fucking went crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. So I think I also might have put on some eyeshadow. Anyway, let's just say I looked like a panda. Okay, I looked like a fucking panda. I don't know what else I did, but I remember my eyes were black as the night is dark. Wow, that did not go well. Sometimes I think things in my head and they don't always articulate. It's like I've had a stroke or something. They don't always come out of my mouth properly. Or sometimes they come out of my mouth without me even thinking about it. And I'm like, oh dear, what happened there? Oh, I'm sorry about that one. So anyway, then basically I went back home looking like a panda. By the way, it wasn't like sexy smoky eye. No, I looked like I probably fell onto the eyeliner, had a seizure, and then come on, Dawn, come up with something fucking witty. I can't. I literally can't. That was about a 20-second pause there. It will be taken out, but I can't. I just can't think of anything. Fell on the eyeliner, had a seizure, and then threw it away. I don't know. Can't think of anything. If you think of anything better, please let me know. Anyway, so, and then I had sex with a panda. There we go. That was my witty thing to say. Dangerous. I do not advocate bestiality. Please do not take that the wrong way. In fact, I am in love with burrito and burrito only. Okay, I'm in a weird mood today. So, anyway, we went out for food. I got the piss taken out of me the whole fucking time, and that was the worst time of my life at that moment, anyway. I kept going to the toilet. I am not exaggerating, probably about every 10 minutes, to try and wipe it off, as if no one would notice, as if they would forget that I had seized on an eyeliner pen, rabidly seized, and like they'd just forgotten about it. No, it was obvious. I was going to the toilet, rubbing it off with water, which by the way does not work. It's fucking waterproof. So I was basically just smudging it around my face. I probably looked even worse. And then I was coming back like nothing had fucking happened. Eat my meal, and then off I went again to do some more. I was so mortified by this that I was like, I want to remove all evidence that this ever happened. So there we go. That's what happened. Yeah, I mean, come on, fucking, what was I, like 12? Why can't I just own it? I decided to become a makeup artista and joined a panda clan at that moment. But no, that was mortifying for me. So, makeup, we're done. Dating. I think that's the one I said next, wasn't it? Because I'm doing like the shorter ones first, right? So and I'm fucking 16 minutes in and I've only done one. Concerning. The smallest one as well. Dating. I remember when I was 13 again. By the way, one of my next episodes is going to be embarrassing things I did as a teenager / certain age. I did a lot of embarrassing things and I'm very excited to share them all with you. I'm fucking thrilled. Like I really am, because I can look back on them and be like, you made a lot of mistakes, Dawn, but tell you what, you are valiantly here today sharing them with the world so that everybody else can laugh at your misery with you. There we go. No, I do. I just think it's fucking funny. So yeah. Okay, dating. I went out with I don't want to say a lot, 2 people that I went out with, in inverted commas. No, 3. Wait there. 3. Went out with, in inverted commas, and never spoke to whilst I went out with them. I don't know why this is a thing in the teenage world. Do you want to be my boyfriend? Do you want to be my girlfriend? Or whatever. I can't remember which way around it was. Yeah, I do. I'm never talking to you again though. And then it's like, we got to choose where we sat in science, right? And I remember fucking avoiding. His name was, let's change it, Charlie. His name was Charlie. And I was like, Charlie, I just couldn't. Everyone was like, oh, you're going out now. And I was like, yeah, we totally are. Don't know why I become American when I talk like a child. I'm an American child. I don't know where I'm from in America, but I'm an American child. I'm an American girl. Okay. So avoided him, Charlie, like the plague. Like, he literally could not have had more barge poles in between us. And I was terrified of fucking speaking to him. We were friends before, and then we decided we were going out. What the fuck happened there? Never spoke to him. And then I was like, look, Charlie, I just don't think this is working. You know, we literally don't fucking talk or even make eye contact. Like, nothing. In fact, our relationship, by making it official, has taken significant steps in the opposite direction to what I would anticipate a normal functioning relationship to be having, to be progressing into. So we're not even making eye contact, Charlie. We can't be in a relationship. Anyway, then, I'm sorry if you're listening, Charlie, in inverted commas, you will know this is about you, because no one on the face of this planet has ever done this to another 12, 13-year-old girl. No one. Literally fucking no one, I'm telling you. So you are the only person that has done that. And I salute you for it because it was very amazing. Charlie and I were at youth club. I decide I can't be with Charlie anymore. I'm just terrified of fucking the sight of him. Not because he's ugly, not because I didn't like him, but because apparently as soon as you turn into boyfriend and girlfriend, it's like you just become like weird magnets that can't literally breathe the same air. So I say to Charlie, no, I just can't be with you anymore. I'm sorry. That's the most we spoke in the week or two we went out. It was me dumping him. So I remember the thought and the idea of, and the actual process of us touching hands scared the living daylights out of me. And I think that was just a reflection of how emotionally immature I was. But there we go. So I break up with Charlie at youth club. He then sings to me. Remember, it's what, 2009? I don't know. A long time ago, maybe even less time than that, maybe even 2007 or something. It is the time where Bass Hunter, and if you're from the UK, you will know Bass Hunter. Bass Hunter has a hit single out, and it's called Now You're Gone, and it goes a little something like this. Now you're gone. Oh, you need like the beat as well. Now you're gone. I realize my love for you was strong, and I miss you here. Now you're gone. Ooh, that was a bit flat. So it basically goes on like that. Charlie decides to serenade me in the middle of the youth club. Everybody's like, Dawn, you can't turn Charlie down now that he's fucking sung you Bass Hunter. Like, what a cruel thing to do. I'm like, no, that repelled me more. I now can't even, I just can't. So yeah, that really freaked me out. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Although that was a very lovely gesture, I cannot. I simply cannot. And that was the end of that. And we were friends after that. You know, I was just terrified of being someone's girlfriend. Anyway, that's my first dating story. I had another dating story. It's not particularly exciting. I'm not sure I need to tell anybody. That was probably the best one. I did date a guy called Dan. I have no fucking idea how we met. But we went out for 2 weeks as well. Yes, very long-term relationships in my teenage years. And he basically went on holiday for 2 weeks, and then he cheated on me. Remember, we were fucking 13, so he probably held somebody's hand, and that was the end of that. I am not even sure I met this man. I think I did once, maybe. Yes, I did once. Again, no physical contact. We barely even made eye contact. It was terrifying. So Dan broke up with me over text message or whatever it was, and that was the end of that. I also had a guy on MSN that I thought I was in a relationship with. By the way, if you are not from the UK / don't know what MSN is / are too young to know what MSN is, it's basically like Facebook Messenger, but no Facebook. It's just like Messenger and that's it. But I don't know how you meet people on there. But anyway, I met this guy on there called Franz. I don't fucking know. And I thought I was in a relationship with him. I don't know. I didn't even know who he was. He wasn't even from this country. But there we go. MSN does powerful things. Moving on to body me. I have got losing virginity on there as well, but I am saving that one for another special episode, okay? So if you want to hear about losing your virginity, then fucking follow it or something. subscribe, whatever you gotta do. Oh, I can't stop burping. Right, body. I have some bad experiences with my body as a child, teenager. I'm child, teenager, same thing. One of my youngest memories is being told whilst I was, again, 12 or something like that, something of the sort, 11 maybe at the youngest, being told that I was so fat. I literally, compared to kids nowadays who are pretty big, I was actually moderate sized, but I was obese for that age, that like era. I was obese. I would now probably still be obese, but like I would not be the worst offender in the class. I just have obese genes, okay? So yeah, there I was standing on my own in a fucking car park, as you do at the park. And this guy goes, he's literally like fucking 13, like he's not old. He's with his friend. He's showing off. Yes. He goes, "You're so fat that I could smack your ass and ride the ripples." Great, thanks. Defenseless, poor defenseless girl on her own, being verbally harassed by two boys, not much her senior. I hope you feel fucking bad for saying that, and I bet you don't, but I hope you do. I've said some mean things as a kid, you know, so I do regret them, I think. That's my main, like, body memory. I don't remember the exact time that I started to get stretch marks, but I remember being like, what are these weird purple lines, and not liking them, and then them turning silver, but like, I wasn't as freaked out about them then as I am now. If I get stretch marks now, I'm like, ah! Because, like, when you're a teenager, firstly, you just don't know what's happening. And secondly, you're like, you know, looking back now, I'm like, well, I was a teenager, I was growing. I should not be growing at this age. In fact, I should be, if anything, staying the same or hopefully getting smaller. But I'm not, apparently, according to my stretch marks. So, yeah, they reappeared over COVID. Fucking unsurprising. You know, the COVID-19 pounds occurred to me. And, there we go. Stretch marks I have a very hate-hate relationship with. I don't know if they love me, but I seem to hate them. I think genetically, I think I'm going to do an episode on these too. But I think genetically, again, I am just really predisposed to having stretch marks. They just fucking have an affinity to me. And there we go. There's nothing you can do about that. So I just exist as one whole large stretch mark. There is not a zone on my body that does not have a stretch mark on it, except maybe my forearms. And that is only a possibility. I don't know. Cellulite, well, we've all got that, haven't we? I remember body hair being a significant thing. I remember talking about pubic hair at one point and people being like, oh my god, you shave, don't you? And I was like, how do I shave? What does that mean? And they were like, oh my god, you don't have a shaven haven? Why do I keep going American? Oh my god, you don't have a shaven haven? Why do I turn on this like ridiculous fucking accent? Like, Dawn, just talk in your normal accent. Oh my god, you don't have a shaven haven? Oh, now it sounds weird. But anyway, I remember that being a sentence that was literally said to me as a probably 13-year-old girl. I was like, shit, what is a shaven haven? And I was like, yeah, I've got a shaven haven. Of course, who doesn't nowadays, you know? And of course I went along with it. Like, you don't want to be like, no, I'm the odd one out. I don't have a shaven haven. So I find out what shaven haven is just by, you know, finding out what the conversation was about, pubic hair. I then go home and of course, what do? I find the first razor blade that I can find, which is apparently my stepfather's face shaving, pretty fucking horrendous, right? Face shaving shaver. And I use that. And of course, I, you know, probably cleaned it, but not well enough because there were definitely my pubic hairs left in his face shaver. And so he told me the next day that was the case. This man is just ruining my fucking teenage years, I swear. He's joking about my eyes and my panda seizing eyes. He's joking about my pubic hair and his face shaving shaver. I mean, that one's not great. I fucking get that one, okay? But look, I wasn't allowed to have razors. I didn't know what I was doing. So there we go. That's the first story of how I shaved my pubic hair. Not proud of it. I feel like everybody, oh my god, diet culture. Come on, let's fucking go there. Diet culture in our era might still be the case now, okay? I'm not saying it's not. But I remember it being a heavy focus of growing up as a teenage girl. Super size versus super skinny, America's Next Top Model, like so many shows about dieting and about, you know, size zero and being skinny and blah, blah, blah. I even Googled what anorexia was when I was a kid because I was like, what the fuck is it? My mum caught me and screamed at me. So that was fun. And I found out what anorexia was from Googling it. Not something they really teach you in school, to be honest. So I can't remember how I heard about it, but anyway, there were these stupid fucking diets like, oh, just eat an apple a day and that will keep you going, just drink water, liquid soup diet. I was like 13 and I was on a diet, like crazy. Eat just tissue paper. Okay, sounds good, sounds nutritious. And yeah. So diet culture was a big thing. Being skinny was a big thing. I think it probably is still, to be honest, now. But I don't feel it as much now as a grown woman. But when I was younger, when I was half my age, which I can't even, like, believe that I was that age at some point. Like, I can't even believe that I was a baby. Like, can you think of yourself as a baby? How weird is that? I look at pictures of myself and I'm like, what? Really? That's me, but little? I was pretty cute. I had no fashion sense though, or at least my parents didn't. So yeah, weight was a big thing with bodies. It's always an embarrassing topic. You know, whenever I always looked at like, oh, probably one of the most embarrassing things happened to me when I was around that age again. I was in the changing rooms. We used to go, you know, play sports and shit. There were always girls in there that were way skinnier than me, and I was always so jealous. And I was like, oh my god, you can see their bones, and I just always thought that was goals, you know, I want to see my bones. And they were a lot taller than me though, so, and also I'm an obesogenic girl. So I remember getting a pen. Remember, I was only like 13, getting a pen and drawing all of the parts. This is kind of sad actually. Drawing all of the parts on my body that I wanted to remove. That was my inner thighs, like basically like a plastic surgeon does, you know, and they're about to operate and then they draw on you. I did it on my stomach and I did it on my inner thighs. Moth Returns Part 2. And yeah, I was just really like, I want to fucking get rid of it. Anyway, didn't come off the pen. I mean, this is the like kind of embarrassing bit, is I then went to get changed in the changing rooms the next day and I've got all these lines all over me and people are like, Dawn, what is that? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I can't even remember what excuse I made up, but it was shit. I wasn't telling the truth. And yeah, so that's the tragic story of my weight issues. Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? Because you're either too big or you're too small. You're never just fucking right, are you? Talking about too big and too small, boobs were another thing. And I remember people being really like OTT obsessed, like about puberty, when it happened and like who it happened to last. And it was like, I don't know, I guess it was like a rite of passage. I was one of the first people. I'm just an early precocious bloomer. I bloomed at 11 and a lot of people didn't, you know, some of the girls that I knew and I was friends with, they didn't get their periods till they were like 16. But they were also like a lot more petite and like just, I would say a lot less like physically mature than I was. So yeah, I think people were often like, you know, they stuff their like their bras to make them it look like they had boobs when they really didn't. I never had that issue because I was just like, I had puberty. I had already reached puberty, so I already had boobies and like, well, not like they are now, but like, you know, little breast bud development. And it's so weird to think how your boobs like came out. They just sort of started appearing and like they were just little hills, like little mounds, like little mole hills, you know, and then suddenly they just start going like down and down. Anyway, that's sad. All right, let's move on to, let's talk about periods. My first period was actually thoroughly uneventful and fine. I remember it very well. I was at a pub I was 11. I was at a pub where my grandmother lives, like that area. And I just remember going to the toilet and there was blood there. Woo! Fucking exciting. Then I had somebody gave me a sanitary towel and that was the end of that. It wasn't painful. It wasn't significant. It was just there. And I was expecting it to come. So when it did, I was like, cool. And that was the end of that. But periods are more troublesome than that. That was my first period, the lightest period, you know, you might ever have. I've had many issues since. Number one, probably the most regular problem for me, is bleeding through pads. Yes, that's probably one of the most embarrassing female things in terms of periods. Not one of it, well, yeah, one of them. The other embarrassing thing is when you don't know you're going to come on and then suddenly you've got blood there. And it's like, oh, fucking, it's come through. I have never had the issue where it's gone on to, like, what I've been sitting on. But I know people that have. And, you know, I always get the issue where, like, oh, moth, go away. Nobody wants you here. I always have the issue where it goes into my pants. And then, let's just say it, and then my pants are stained. Okay, there we go. We came out with it. That's still a problem that goes on to this day for me. Sadly. Bleeding through tampons and bleeding through pads, constant issue. Some people use these menstrual cups and I'm like, kind of sounds weird. Like, I don't know how they stay in, and then somebody told me the other day that they stay in via suction, and I was creeped out even more. I was like, I do not want to suction my cervix and blood cup together. Like, no, thank you. So I am actively avoiding those for now. I'm fine with my current situation, okay? I don't need an upgrade. So I am a no sex on period kind of girl. I know people. Now the issue is, okay, for some annoying reason, God, I don't believe in God, but God decided to make you the most horny you've ever been whilst you have blood coming out of your vagina and you very much find yourself unattractive. So it's like, great, I want to fucking have sex with everything in sight, but I'm also pouring with blood from an orifice that requires use to have sex. So controversial, but for me. So that is, yeah, some people are into it. Oh, they're not bothered by it, but I am. I get really self-conscious when it's like blood and sex and like, no, how much mess I'm gonna make? I don't know. I wish I liked it, but I don't. So that's not something that's ever planned, I would say, for me. And sometimes it has happened where it just occurs and you're like, oh dear, danger zone, and you never saw it coming, but there it is and you have to deal with it. There is also, you know, all blood or in sex is not always period. Why do my burps and my fucking nasal mucus decide to come to a head whilst I'm trying to talk continuously for an hour? That's probably why. Because I'm talking continuously for an hour. So yeah, sex on period is like a no-go for me. I already don't like find myself hugely sexy, so then to add in a bodily fluid that personally I don't find that attractive, it just makes it like significantly worse. When I had one of my first periods, when I first used tampon, that was a true disaster, my friends, because I didn't know where the hole was. I got a mirror out, I looked, still didn't know. Do you know why? Because it's fucking sort of closed. Not fully, but it's very non-existent, you know, hymen in the way, no. So I didn't know where to put it. I was like, I don't know. So I find this story very embarrassing, but I told it to Tom the other day and he was like, oh, that's like a really cute story, like that's fine. And I was like, I've literally never told anybody this. And then I told Tom and he like reacted so fine to it, and I was like, and like I'm freaking out about this story. And he was like, chill about it. I still don't know if I'm okay to share it. Let's just say, okay, we'll keep it brief. Let's just say I wanted to go swimming. I was in my young teens, even maybe not a teenager, maybe 12, I don't know. My first tampon, I had no fucking idea where it was going, okay? Literally didn't know. I didn't know. I read the instructions. It was still a mystery. I got in that position, you know, where you got your foot on the bath or the toilet. No, push in, pain, no, wasn't happening. I did not know what was going on. I wanted to go swimming though. I wanted to go and play. I wanted to go and play with my friends and go swimming. I was under time pressure. So I got really stressed. I was like, I don't know where this is going. Got the mirror out, had a look. Fucking freaked out because I'd never seen that before. I saw my urethra, which I thought was, I don't know if you've ever looked at your urethra, but it was scary. I was pretty terrified of it. I thought I was growing some kind of tumour. Anyway, I googled what does a vagina look like, because Google did exist, and I reassured myself that was normal. Okay, so I was like, okay, fine. My anatomy looks normal, but I still don't know where my vagina is. Still do not know. I then had to ask for help. So that's where I'm going to end the story. I don't know why I'm so embarrassed about it. But yeah, I had to ask for help putting the tampon in. And yes, I did receive such help. And I think, did I even go swimming? I don't fucking remember. I feel like I might not have done because it was so traumatic. Like I was like, no, I can't. No. So if you're 13 and listening and trying to put in your first tampon, you might need some help. It might not be your time to put a tampon in. Maybe just go swimming another week when you're not bleeding, you're not hemorrhaging from your vagina. But look, it might be fine for some people. I think I was really stressed as well, so I was like, just that made it much worse, and muscles get tense and things do not want to enter. Okay, there we go. That was enough of that story. I think some of the other things are smelly pads. Look, blood is stinky. And I tell you what, when I was younger, I think pad technology was not as good. Pad technology now, they don't seem to smell. Like, they seem to absorb and be okay. But when I was younger, I remember them not so much being okay. And it's not great. I mean, you just have to change them, but when you can't use tampons, which kind of avoid the smelly issue. But I mean, blood is just stinky. It is, like, especially if it's just been sitting there for a while. So there we go. That's all I'm saying on that. Pad bunching, another issue. You need to make sure you got the right size, because you do not want some bunching at the back and then it's obvious that you've got a pad on. Just you need to get the right length. Or the other thing I do is wedgie myself with the pad. So it's still offering protection, a lot of love and affection, but it's not visible because it's in between my butt cheeks. Sometimes causes some chafing, but it's not, it's only for a few hours, so we can cope. And I heard a story the other day that this girl that I knew, I don't know how this happened. I don't even know if I'm allowed to tell this story, but I'm going to fucking do it. She was dancing, drunk, had some loose trousers on, no underwear. Don't know what was happening there. But she was dancing. Suddenly, her tampon slides out of her vagina. Please tell me how. And onto the floor. There are two guys there. Now, obviously, I'm hearing this story secondhand. There are two guys there. One of them, they all look at this tampon on the floor. They're like, oh my God, is it a mouse? What is it? They all look at it. One of the guys drops to the floor. You won't fucking expect what I'm going to say next, I'm telling you. And starts to worship the tampon. They all then join in. This is the life of students, apparently. They all then join in and also start worshipping the tampon. I think at some point, some embarrassment sets in. And the girl who told me the story grabs the tampon, runs away, disposes of the tampon. I don't know how it falls out. I've never been in a situation where I've been like, whoopsie, that was close. Good job I was wearing underwear. No, it firmly fucking stays in place. Sometimes it like comes, when you can like feel it, it like comes out a bit into like the vaginal meatus, and there's some sensation there. But and it's like, I don't quite like this feeling, but you could just push it back up. It's never fucking flown out of my vagina. There's friction there, I'm telling you. I don't know, but whatever. Maybe she did some poppers or something. Who knows? I feel like there must be more to that story. Something I'm missing, but there we go. Maybe it's more common than I realise. Just because it never happened to me doesn't mean it never happened. Hey, Burrito. I agree. Another one is retained tampons. I actually saw a patient, a girl obviously, who thought she had a retained tampon in, and so she got her friend to look. I probably would never get this would never happen. I would never get my friend to look at my vagina, just wouldn't. And the friend goes, yeah, there might be a tampon there, right? So they come to the emergency department. She's like 18. I do an examination where I stick my fingers inside. Nothing. But my fingers aren't that long, so we think, okay, let's have a proper gander. We get the crocodile speculum out. Nothing in there. Literally an empty cavern, I'm telling you. No tampon to be seen. So I don't know how that happens, that situation where you're like, I'm not sure if I've got a tampon in. I'll get my friend to have a look. Yeah, I think you might have one in, but I don't know. Weird. So I can tell you though, talking about smelly pads, retained tampons are probably the most, second to dead, rotting flesh, the second worst smell in the world, because they smell a bit like dead, rotting flesh. And yeah, I don't know what more to say about that. They are just gross. Like, they smell horrendous. They've been in a warm, bloody cavity, which bacteria love, by the way, and it's been like incubating, and it just fucking stinks. Like, it really does. There we go. Let's move on, for the interest of time, to the last topic, which is sex. This is probably a subject within the sex category that no one has ever experienced, but I'm going to explain it anyway because apparently I did it. I was very, very drunk once, and I was a student, and this is slightly questionable because the guy that I slept with was not drunk. Never do that, my friends. So he remembers everything fully. I was fucking very drunk, okay? And it's kind of difficult as a girl to question male sexual behaviour because you don't want to ruin their lives, but they're also making a bad decision, and you're like, that's kind of predatory, but also I don't want to ruin your life, but also I don't want you doing it again, so I don't know, and also there's no evidence, so it's tricky. So anyway, that's my sexual predatory situation, whatever. So anyway, he's not drunk, I am, and sometimes we make unusual noises in sex. If you're very drunk, maybe you snort. I don't know, but apparently, let's use Burrito as an example. Apparently, I looked over and I just stared at what you can imagine Burrito is, okay? It was at eye level. What are you gonna do? And I had no inhibitions. I was like full on eyeing this bad boy up. Right? That was a disgusting sentence. I'm so sorry for that. And that was quite embarrassing because obviously he remembers it, and if he was drunk, then he probably wouldn't have even noticed. But there we go. There we fucking were. It was a bad situation. That is why you never have sex with a drunk, non-drunk person when you are drunk. Okay, lesson learned there. Number 2 is the fear of every person, male or female, in a sexual situation, and that is farting. I would say that a lot of people are worried about this. I have never audibly farted during sex. I feel like some gas might have been let out at some point, but it's a miracle as to how it was not heard. I have a theory that when you fart and it's loud, Tom's just come home, so I'm gonna be a bit more quiet. When you fart and it's loud, it's because your butt cheeks are kind of rippling. But if your butt cheeks are open, then there's nothing to ripple against. There's no air friction situation going on. So I think that's why it's rare. But also I think when you're having sex, your fart reflex seems to just turn off, or maybe you just don't notice it. Number 3 in this embarrassing female thing. The last thing on this list is the worst, I think. And I was going to do a whole episode on it, and I was like, no, I don't think it warrants a whole episode. And that is, everybody, the queef. Yes. If you don't know what a queef is, it's basically a fart from your vagina. Yeah. So basically, sometimes some air is pushed in there through certain positions and situations, and it has to come out. It just does. It can't stay in there forever. So you've got no control over less control over your vaginal sphincter than your anal sphincter. So it just comes out. You literally can't help it, and it's fucking mortifying. Really is. And I think the best way to avoid it is there's certain positions that it happen in, mainly I would say doggy style, where everything's open, this is quite graphic, and air is then pushed in. So if you can try and avoid it in that position, great. I think you're fucking laughing, because that's the only position I've ever had it happen in. And if you think, oh, queefs only happen to people with saggy vaginas, no, it's not true. Alright? Sometimes physics is just not on your side, and it will just happen, and you literally can't do anything about it. So there we go. It's like farting. Can't stop it, can you? It's going to come out eventually. So there we go. Not your fault. You didn't push the air in there, did you? No. Anyway, that's my tale of embarrassing female things. Quite a few. I couldn't really think of any more. I'm sure there's some other ones, but those were the main beefy boys that I could think of. Burrito has had fun with me today, despite him being a phallic looking member of the podcasting crew. Hey, don't say that. And he's had a lot of squeezing fun. I need something like this, just something that looks a little bit less weird. By the way, if you do want to get this game, it's called Throw Burrito. I can't remember. It's by the same people that do Exploding Kittens. They do loads of weird fucking games. I have three of them, and yeah, love them. So thanks so much for listening, guys. I upload every Monday and every Thursday, and we just do fun fucking stories, fun fucking times, and I love it. So yeah, if you guys liked it, give it a like. If you guys liked it on the podcast listening, please go ahead and give it a 5-star review on wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you think that a friend or family member would love to listen to this too, then please send it their way, because sharing really is caring. And I can't wait to speak to you, and I can't wait to hear about where you listen to me on your podcasting listening trails situations. So yeah, please, if you do want to let me know, yeah, you can either go onto my YouTube or Instagram at dawnbarlow30. I changed it because I could have Dawn Barlow, but the issue was I wanted them all to be the same: Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And TikTok gave me Dawn Barlow 30. So this is a fucking pointless story, but I just want to say that's why I'm number 30, because I just thought I'm just going to have them all the same: Dawn Barlow 30. So yeah, go follow me, Dawn Barlow 30, and you can write me a message on there, or write me an email at contact@diariesofadoctor.com, I think. I want to say .com. Anyway, like I said, thanks so much for listening, guys, and I will speak to you in a few days, where we come back with some more fun stories, as already previously discussed. See you next week.